The roar of 80,000 Romans is a physical weight, a tidal wave of sound that crashes against the newly polished marble and the jagged, protruding edges of alien chrome. In the year of our Lord 80, the Flavian amphitheater has ceased to be a mere monument to stone and sport. It has become a laboratory of the divine and the mechanical. The scent of the morning air is a sickening cocktail of expensive Egyptian perfume, the copper tang of fresh blood, and the sterile, sharp ozone of the star gifts, integrated into the arena's foundations. Flavius Cassian stands in the darkness of the hypogeum, the tunnels beneath the sand, listening to the rhythmic, metallic thud of the gravity plates being calibrated above his head. Flavius is not a man of politics, nor a man of the stars. He is a Secutor, a chaser trained to hunt and kill in the claustrophobic heat of his heavy helmet. But today his helmet is not simple iron. It has been retrofitted with a Vex lens, a thin strip of translucent sapphire glass that allows him to track the heat signatures of creatures that do not belong to the natural world. His gladius is heavy, the hilt wrapped in boiled leather, but the blade itself pulses with a dull orange thermal glow, capable of shearing through the iridescent chitin of the star spawn. The Emperor watches. Flavius, whispers Verox, a Gallic Thraex whose left arm has been replaced by a hydraulic piston of blackened brass. Give him a show, or the gravity wells will turn you into a red smear before the first sunset. The gate groans open. Not with the rattle of chains, but with the silent, terrifying glide of magnetic levitation. Flavius steps out into the blinding light of the Roman sun. The sand is not the golden dust of the African coast. It is a shimmering, artificial gray, infused with iron filings that dance and swirl as the arena's magnetic traps flicker to life. In the center of the great circle stands the Chrome-Chimera. It is a horror of liquid mercury and ancient malice, a beast captured from the wreckage of a crashed biosphere ship near Pompeii. It stands 10 feet tall at the shoulder, its body a shifting mass of silver muscle that flows like water over a skeleton of obsidian. Its primary head is a lion's maw, but the teeth are vibrating needles of white-hot glass. Its tail, a segmented cable of glowing blue circuitry, whips through the air, spitting bolts of plasma that turn the sand into jagged glass wherever they strike. The crowd erupts. Titus, the Emperor, stands in the velvet-lined imperial box, his face hidden behind a visor of star glass that reflects the carnage below. He raises a hand and the games begin. The Chimera does not roar. It emits a subsonic pulse that vibrates the marrow in Flavius's bones. It lunges, a blur of silver light. Flavius dives to the left, his heavy armor clattering as a gravity plate beneath him activates. He is suddenly weightless, propelled upward 10 feet into the air. He twists in the mid-air, the thermal gladius humming in his grip. Below him, the Chimera's laser tail lances through the space where his legs had been a heartbeat ago, vaporizing the gray sand in a brilliant flash of blue light. Now Kiso. Flavius roars. From the opposite side of the arena, Kiso, a retiarius, launches his net. It is not made of hemp, but of woven superconducting wire. The net expands in the air, a web of blue sparks that collapses onto the Chimera's shifting mercury back. The creature shrieks, a sound of digital feedback and animal pain, as the electrical current interferes with its liquid cohesion. Its silver hide ripples violently, trying to expel the net, parts of its body turning from liquid to solid and back again. Flavius hits the ground, the gravity plate reversing and slamming him back into the sand with double the force of the earth. He grunts, the wind leaving his lungs, but he forces his muscles to move. He sprints toward the struggling beast, his thermal blade carving a trail of orange sparks through the air. He reaches the creature's flank and drives the gladius upward. The thermal edge slices through the silver hide, but there is no blood. A thick, glowing blue coolant sprays across Flavius's breastplate, hissing as it eats through the Roman iron. The Chimera swivels its obsidian heads, the central maw snapping shut inches from Flavius's throat. The beast's tail sweeps around in a desperate arc. Flavius raises his scutum, a heavy shield reinforced with alien alloy plating. The plasma bolt hits the shield with the force of a battering ram. The impact throws Flavius backward across the arena, his boots carving deep furrows in the magnetic sand. The shield is glowing white-hot, the wood beneath the alloy charring instantly. He smells his own skin beginning to blister. The trap. Flavius. Draw it to the center. Verox screams from the sidelines, his hydraulic arm hissing steam as he holds back a swarm of smaller mechanical Scuterii drones that have entered the arena to clean the sand. The Chimera, enraged and leaking sapphire fluid, shakes off the electrified net. It focuses its 6 red ocular sensors on Flavius. The creature's body begins to vibrate, its liquid silver skin sharpening into thousands of tiny, lethal needles. It prepares for a quill's burst, a lethal expansion that will shred everything within 30 paces. Flavius stands his ground in the dead center of the arena. He feels the hum of the great well beneath his feet, the massive gravity generator that powers the entire Colosseum. He looks up at Titus. The Emperor's visor is unmoving, a cold observer of the meat and the metal. The Chimera charges. It is no longer a lion, it is a silver spear, a missile of biomechanical fury. 5 paces. 3. 1. Flavius slams his thermal gladius into the sand, directly into the control node of the gravity plate. The world goes sideways. The great well reverses. For a split second, gravity doesn't pull down, it pulls inward toward the center of the arena with the force of a collapsing star. The Chimera, caught mid-leap, is violently yanked toward the floor. Its mercury body is flattened against the sand, the sheer pressure of the gravity well cracking its obsidian skeleton. Flavius, anchored by his blade in the node, is nearly crushed by the weight of his own armor, but he keeps his head up. Die in the dust of Rome. He triggers the thermal blade's final discharge. The orange glow turns to a blinding white supernova. The energy travels through the node and into the gravity plate, overloading the system. The plate detonates in a silent explosion of blue and white pressure. The Chimera is unmade. The silver hide is vaporized, the obsidian heads are shattered into a million black diamonds, and the liquid blue coolant is turned into a cloud of steam that fills the arena. The gravity well fails and the crushing weight vanishes. Flavius falls onto his back, gasping for air that is thick with the scent of burnt circuits and alien meat. He is covered in gray dust and blue oil, his armor a ruined mess of melted plates and scorched leather. The silence in the Colosseum is absolute for 5 seconds. Then the roar returns, louder, hungrier, a sound that shakes the very stones of Rome. Titus stands, his thumb held out horizontally. The crowd waits, their breath held. Slowly the Emperor's thumb turns down. Not for Flavius but for the beast. The Secutor has won. Flavius Cassian pulls himself to his feet, using his broken sword as a crutch. He looks around the arena. The sand is a kaleidoscope of red human blood and blue star ichor. The Chrome-Chimera is nothing more than a scorched circle on the floor. He sees the next gate beginning to hum, the magnetic lock of the Secunda porter releasing. He knows there will be another beast, another star-spawned horror, another hour of blood and chrome. He doesn't look at the crowd. He doesn't look at the Emperor. He looks at his own hands, the way the human skin is stained by the sapphire oil of a world he will never see. He wipes a smear of the blue fluid across his visor and turns toward the darkness of the tunnels. The sand is cold again. The roar of the Romans fades into the low, eternal hum of the machines buried deep within the earth. Rome has survived the stars, but in the heart of the Colosseum, the soul of the empire has been traded for a seat at the end of the universe. The sun sets over the Tiber, casting long mechanical shadows across the marble, while the sand of the arena waits, thirsty and gray, for the next drop of blood. The iron is scarred. The silver is ash. The games go on. The gates slide shut with a final echoing clack of magnetic seals. The Flavian amphitheater stands silent under the bruised purple of the Roman twilight, a monument to a people who have learned to cheer for their own extinction. Flavius vanishes into the dark, a shadow among the chrome, and the eternal city breathes with the rhythmic, cold pulse of the stars.